So I saw Hamilton last night, somewhat uniquely for someone who's been writing about theatre for over 20 years. Um, I knew relatively little about Hamilton. I actually prefer to see shows fresh as much as I can, so I hadn't listened to the cast recording loads of times. I hadn't seen it in New York. Obviously, writing about it on various websites, and it sinks in by osmosis. So I knew it by reputation and also by the recommendations of so many people whose opinions I absolutely trust. So I was expecting to love it. I was hugely looking forward to it, incredibly excited to be able to go, and I did love it. So it didn't disappoint in any way. But as I sit here and think about what my own thoughts about the show are, I feel really conflicted. I watched it, to be honest with you, with a kind of a mixture of joy and sorrow. But let's start with the joy. So the joy is it is truly a wonderful and revolutionary musical, American revolutionary, internationally revolutionary, revolutionary for the genre. It, of course, tells the story of Alexander Hamilton, one of the founding fathers of the United States, my native country. And it does so in sung through, rapped through style with the incredible visionary talent of Lin-Manuel Miranda applied to the story. It's great. I really, really loved it. I loved so many of the songs. I especially loved, the really great anthems to rise up and to go to have your shot and to be in the room where it happens. All of these things, which I know fans of the show will know backwards and forwards already. But I also loved some of the quieter ones, Dear Theodosia. I expected it to be stunning and slick and exciting, and it was all those things. It was also incredibly moving. I did shed a tear a few times, including during the epilogue after Hamilton's premature death, and kind of looking back on his legacy and what happened to some of the other characters. It's wonderful. So that was a joy. Another bit of the joy was seeing this fantastic cast of Brits perform this show that is so quintessentially American. So it was joyful to discover newcomers like Jamel Westman, who plays the title role, Alexander Hamilton, incredibly tall and incredibly dignified, and already carries with him this newcomer unbelievable gravitas. So his career, I know, will be one to follow closely for many years to come. Also, Cleve September and Taryn Callender really impressed, as well as Rachel John as Angelica Schuyler. So they were all fantastic. But another bit of joy was to see actors who I know and I consider kind of mates, who have been doing great work for many years. But this, to me, seems like they're big shots for a lot of them. To see them in some great roles, and that includes Jason Pennycook, who plays both Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson. It absolutely includes Michael Gibson, who is hilarious as King George. Very fun, has a lot of fun with that, and gets a big whoop from the largely British audience when he even comes out on the stage. I saw Mike, I remember when he was a newcomer and made his professional debut in Our House in the West End, and he was fantastic then, and he's fantastic now, and it's just wonderful to see him in this role. But most especially, Giles Terera. Giles is an extraordinary talent and should be, by now, in my opinion, a household name. He is just wonderful. Here he plays Aaron Burr, and he makes his part his own. He brought many of the tears to my eyes as the narrator. And essentially, it's kind of like Hamilton is really kind of like Peter Shaffer's Amadeus, but as a musical and looking at politics rather than classical music. And Aaron Burr is essentially Salieri to Hamilton's Wolfgang. And so Giles, as Aaron Burr, both narrates the show and the story. He's the first person on the stage and the last, but he also is the baddie, unwittingly, as much as he wants to be the good one. and it's just an extraordinary story, and he does it so well, and has some amazing songs as well. So he's just fantastic. So please go see Only for Giles Terrera and spread the word. Giles Terrera. He's incredible. He's so versatile too. Look up his other work. He does Shakespeare. He writes. He was in Mulroney's Black Bottom. He's fantastic. So that's a lot of joy. It's also quite joyful for me as an American expat to see this story, and made me really homesick. I haven't been homesick in a while. I've been in the UK for well over 20 years, all of my adult life. But in fact, I am from Virginia, and so many of the references were to places that I have lived and been and spent really significant periods of my life. I went to high school near Mount Vernon, George Washington's home. I studied at the University of Virginia near Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's home, university founded by Thomas Jefferson. So this was very significant to me and very meaningful. So a lot of the references and obviously history that I studied from my homeland growing up. But that's where the sorrow comes in too, because I've been, as so many people around the world, you don't have to have been born American to have been really concerned about the direction that the United States has gone in since the election of Donald Trump last November 2016. And so much of what is celebrated in this musical, the foundation of what has been the world's most successful and leading democracies, now it is grotesquely under threat under this administration. And the show really reminds us that America was a political experiment, and the foundations on which it is built are fragile, and they need protecting. This really struck home to me even more so because I was remembering that, of course, it created international headlines, so I'm sure you'll remember that Mike Pence, when he was vice president-elect, attended Hamilton in New York about a week after the election. And the cast of Hamilton took the opportunity to make a statement to him from the stage. And this beautiful, multiracial, diverse cast, consciously diverse cast of American performers pleaded with him to say, and I quote, "We are the diverse America who are alarmed and anxious that your new administration will not protect us, our planet, our children, our parents, or defend us and uphold our inalienable rights. But we truly hope this show has inspired you to uphold our American values and work on behalf of all of us." They said that on Victor Dixon, who plays Aaron Burr on Broadway, said that on the 16th of November 2016. And I don't think it's there's any question at all that that has not been what's happened. So the message did not get through in any meaningful way. So we just have to keep making it. And in the meantime, being inspired by Lin-Manuel Miranda, the company of Hamilton in the US and here in the UK, who keep telling the story of not just the past, but right now.